Alright, so what is going on YouTube? Stipe here today, and today behind me I have a SRT Grand Cherokee. Now you might be more familiar in the more popular version of this Grand Cherokee here as the Trackhawk. And this has actually been around much longer, and I think the Trackhawk has made the name a little bit more popular. Now, if you are familiar with my channel, I do talk about Mopars very commonly, and I've always been a huge fan of this SUV here. It's probably my favorite SUV that is out there, and it really shows just by the appearance how aggressive it looks and just how much more unique and different it is, along with the beautiful stingray color that this one does come with. And we're going to do a quick walk around so you can really get a good in-depth look at this color. Now, unfortunately, the weather isn't the greatest today here in Canada. And this color in the sunlight, though, doesn't really look a whole lot different. And the reason for that is because it's not a metallic. It's a very nice pastel-y color. It really gets accented by the black badging and the black rims and just really all of the black touches all around the entire vehicle. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick little walk around of the vehicle just so you kind of get a really nice idea of how this color does look. And then we're going to talk about the vehicle, in my opinion, as why it is my favorite SUV. Gorgeous and stunning car. And it's so different from everything out there. As you can see, those 6-piston Brembos on the front. So under the hood of this beast of a car is a 392 Hemi, or more popular in the Grand Cherokees known as the 6.4 liter Hemi. Now this Hemi has been around for quite some time. It does share a lot of similarities to the 5.7 liter, of course, and it produces a amazing 475 horsepower to the crank. Now the beauty of this is it's only 10 horsepower less than a Challenger and Charger. Now, this does have a great advantage over the Challenger and Charger, in my opinion, definitely off the launch. And that would be due to the fact that this is a all-wheel drive vehicle. So right off the bat, sitting in this vehicle, it's very comfortable. I'm about 6'3", and I sit very comfortably. Plenty of headroom. Um, the steering wheel feels really nice, which I'm going to get a better view of the interior here in just a second. But yeah, the steering wheel is really nice. The paddle shifters feel great. This does feel like you are in a very high-end performance car, which is why I like it so much, because for the price tag, it's great. Here in Canada, this SUV here starts at the mid to high 70s, which is pretty impressive because when you add all of the discounts that you can actually get here in Canada and in the US, I know of many people who have gotten great deals on these vehicles. You're getting them for a very good price and half the price of really what it compares to. Now, for a long time, this vehicle was compared to the SVR Land Rover, of course, and it's been compared to the Cayenne Porsche that they have, and that would be what probably is the most comparable to this vehicle. So now I'm going to kind of show you inside, and you guys let me know if you agree that it is comparable. Now, some people have complained that the vehicle hasn't been updated in quite some time. Why update it? It's such a great looking car. I do hear that they will be upgrading the look of the and redesigning the Grand Cherokee very soon, which is very possible and probably will happen. But for now, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. So here, as you can see, the SRT Grand Cherokee steering wheel, and I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. You have different selection of driving modes, which is track, sport, auto, snow, and tow. Now we're gonna start it up. The red push button, of course, as you can see. Very neat. All your controls up here.
and the carbon fiber accents all around. Of course, Harman Kardon system, red seat belts, and SRT on the seat.
So another thing that I really like about this vehicle is, again, I'm 6'3" in the back. I fit very comfortably. It's not too tight. This seat is actually back, pretty far back, because I'm a bit of a bigger guy. And so someone my height sitting in front could sit very comfortably in the back at the same height. Most of the time, I don't think you're going to have two 6'3" passengers right behind one another. But the beauty too of being a backseat passenger is you're very comfortable in this vehicle. The nice part about the SRTs is they do have a different seating setup and they're more comfortable just with the lumbar support, especially in the front, and you notice it in the back. Another thing is you do get a armrest here. You probably can't see it if I pull it down, but you do get heated seats here in the back as well as a normal outlet that you could plug in your laptop. Let's say if you are a passenger or you are, driving on your own and you're commuting a lot and you need to charge it somewhere, you can do that in this vehicle. As well as panoramic sunroof, which I will show in just a second. Again, that is optional equipment. Another thing that is optional equipment, if you did see in the front, this does have the half suede, half leather seats in the front. So the beauty of that is the suede, in my opinion, is a little bit more favorable because it's a lot cheaper and it's more comfortable, in my opinion. Now some people need the leather because they just feel it kind of adds that more value to the vehicle and that high end feel, which is fine. That's explainable. But I mean, personally, if we're talking about dollars here, it's not quite really worth it, in my opinion. So another couple things that I forgot to mention about this vehicle is you can get the upgraded sound system, the Harman Kardon system. Now, I mean, for the price of it, I'm not a huge fan. I think here in Canada it's about $2,000, which is a little bit high in my opinion. Now, as far as other options that I'm going to kind of get in depth into, and they're not actually options, they're pretty standard on most of the Grand Cherokees. Now, it is a Jeep after all, but as you can see, it does sit a little bit low, but you do have options like a snow option to turn your vehicle, and what that does is it changes the way the performance of the traction control works and how much of the 4x4 is actually engaging into which wheel. It's a very intelligent all-wheel drive system that is available throughout all of our Grand Cherokee models. Now another thing is it is a SRT, so of course you're going to have track mode and sport mode and auto mode and custom tune that you can pick how you want your steering to be, your suspension to be, as far as the response. It will change your paddles, whether you want them on or off. And it just goes on, really, the customization of how much you can do with this vehicle, which is why it's, again, impressive to me for the price of it because of what it compares to. Some of the vehicles that it compares to don't even have as much customization when it comes to drivability that these other SUVs do, which is what is so awesome about these SRT Grand Cherokees. Now, all of these options that I've mentioned do come on the Trackhawk as well. Now, the biggest difference with the Trackhawk is there is a very similar appearance, and there's a lot of little things you could probably nitpick and say that's what's different about the Trackhawk. But at the end of the day, they are the same vehicle. The biggest difference is you get a 6.2-liter Hemi that is supercharged, pushing out 707 horsepower at the crank, which is quite a big amount of power displacement in a vehicle like this. Now, this Grand Cherokee is not very light, so that's where fuel efficiency comes in too. We're talking about fuel efficiency. You got to think about a couple of things. One, yes, it is a heavy vehicle, and you've got a 6.4-liter Hemi. It's a pretty big displacement for now, the way technology is. Most manufacturers aren't doing big displacements like this anymore. So everyone's question is usually, what is the gas mileage like? And I know a lot of people will say when you're buying a vehicle like this you don't think about gas mileage, but it does cross everyone's mind. And typically you're going to be looking at about 15 liters per 100 here in Canada. If you're in the US, you could probably expect about 15 miles per gallon, 14 miles per gallon. around there typically is the average, I'd say. Now, if you do drive on the highway more often, they do shut down to 4 cylinders, which is when you see eco motor, sometimes it does say actually 4 cylinders on your actual heads up display here, not heads up display, sorry, your dash display here right in front of you, you will see it. Since we're talking about heads up display, you can actually not get heads up display on a SRT Grand Cherokee, which is a little unfortunate that a SUV of this type would have that option, but unfortunately it doesn't. Now, back to what I was saying, yes, it does shut down to 4 cylinders, which is pretty impressive. And that does go on with the 5.7 liter Hemi as well, if you are interested in that in, let's say, Summit or Overland. And any other 5.7 liter Hemi that is available that isn't manual, which would be the Challenger only, that would come with a manual transmission, it is pretty fuel efficient on the highway. It's not bad. I've heard many people who can get 22 to 23 miles per gallon. Liters per 100, you're probably looking at about 12.5 liters per 100, maybe low 12 liters per 100. Another great thing that I love is, I'm going to see if I can turn them on. So if you can see the lights now of this vehicle, I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up, but it has this very neat fiber optic lighting, which is very unique on these vehicles. And most manufacturers are starting to do this. Now, the Grand Cherokees I like a lot because it's very significant and it's very different, which is pretty unique about it. Now,
Panoramic roof, so you get an idea of it.
so as I always say, guys, thank you for watching the video today. If you guys do have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But that's for today's review. And as I always say, please make sure you do subscribe to the channel and I'll be back with more videos. Thanks.